The film opens with the voice of a woman named Lee, who is telling a story to her nieces, Maeve and Imogen. Along with her narration, we see a post-apocalyptic view of Seattle, Washington. Lee says, "Once upon a time, there was a before and an after. Before the virus, the world was vast. People lived in cities and towns, filling their days with meaningless distractions. They falsely believed they controlled nature. Then the virus came, and the world grew smaller. When the trains stopped running, people fled their cities and towns. Lawlessness and decay took over, and nature revealed who they truly were. Now we survive on whatever little we can find. Lazareth is our home, and we must protect it." After Lee's narration, we see a small house deep in the forest, where she lives with her young nieces, Imogen and Maeve, struggling to survive. One day, a lost woman appears, begging for food. Lee, holding a gun, warns her to leave. The woman looks weak and starving, so Lee places a few cans of food outside. Meanwhile, Imogen and Maeve hide under the table, wearing masks, terrified. When Lee notices strange marks on the woman's skin, she realizes the truth. The stranger is infected. Without hesitation, Lee shoots her. In this broken world, morality no longer matters. Only survival does. Lee has made her own rules to stay alive. She calls their hidden place Lazareth, a small sanctuary that must remain secret and safe. Only the three of them live there. No outsiders are allowed, because danger now comes not just from the virus, but from other people. The girl's mother had already died from the infection. It's not a zombie virus, just highly contagious, but it turned humanity desperate and ruthless. This early part sets the tone, showing us how harsh and fragile life has become. The story then jumps 10 years forward. Imogen and Maeve are now grown and still living in Lazareth, safe but isolated. The scene then shifts to the city, where a wounded young man is being chased by bikers. We hear the engines roar as he runs toward the forest. Maeve and Imogen grew up in complete isolation, knowing nothing about the real world or other people, only what Lee told them through stories and books. According to Lee, they were meant to live and survive only here because the outside world was still unsafe. Maeve, the elder sister, was calm and quiet, while Imogen was playful and energetic. Both were pure and untouched by the world's darkness. They often went into the forest to search for food. One day, Imogen sent Maeve to gather food. Near a pond, Maeve noticed a tent and became nervous. She had only heard about the outside world, never seen another person. Then, she spotted a young man, wounded and hiding. He had escaped from the city. Shocked, she hid behind a tree. Frightened, Maeve ran home. Lee was away in town for supplies, wearing a protective suit and using their old truck. When she returned, Imogen sprayed her down to decontaminate. Lee said the car wouldn't start again and that she couldn't get all the supplies she needed. Maeve wanted to tell Lee about the stranger, but couldn't. Instead, she told Imogen. Curious, the sisters went to the tent. Maeve carried a knife, but the tent was empty. Soon, the boy returned, carrying firewood, injured and afraid. It was their first time seeing another person, especially a man. Maeve asked him to remove his shirt to check for infection. He wasn't infected. His name was Owen, and he begged for help. The girls left, unsure whether to tell Lee. Her rules were strict, no outsiders. If she found out, she might end his story. But Imogen was already drawn to Owen. He was the first man she had ever seen. She told Maeve they had to help him, or he'd die. For both sisters, it was a completely new and strange feeling. They didn't tell their aunt, but Imogen couldn't stop thinking about the boy. As the night grew colder, the sisters decided to secretly bring him some supplies to help him survive. That night, Lee, Maeve, and Imogen make plans. They go over Lee's rules and a supply list, preparing for survival. Maeve feels trapped. She longed to see the town and the world, but Lee never lets her go. Lee only tells stories about it. Lee tells a disturbing story she saw in town. A gang mistreating a woman at the roadside. This sparks an argument between Lee and Maeve. Maeve is full of questions. Imogen thinks differently. She isn't interested in the outside world. She's focused on Owen, who has taken her attention. Despite their differences, they vote on what to do. When Lee falls asleep, the sisters quietly take supplies and food to Owen because the night is very cold. At the tent, they find him unconscious and badly hurt. He needs medical help, or he will die. Imogen is upset and insists they help him. Maeve reluctantly agrees. They carry Owen back and hide him in the cellar to treat him, keeping it secret from Lee. Before Maeve can finish caring for him, Lee wakes and finds them. She grabs them angrily, furious that they broke the rules that have kept Lazareth safe for years. Lee says their duty is to protect the home, and Maeve betrayed that trust. Lee decides the boy must be returned to the place they found him. Alive or dead, it doesn't matter to her. She fears that sheltering him will expose Lazareth and endanger them all. Imogen cries, begging her aunt not to let Owen die. She speaks from emotion, while Maeve stays logical. Maeve argues it's risky to take him back. He was already near their home, and if people see him, Lazareth could be exposed. Keeping him hidden is safer and still follows Lee's rules. They vote. Maeve and Imogen want to save him, but Lee, angry and disappointed, walks away. That night, the sisters treat Owen. By morning, he wakes, frightened and confused. When Maeve brings him food, he attacks her. She pushes him back, pulls a knife, and yells that they saved his life, so he must follow their rules. Imogen leaves food beside him. Owen promises not to reveal Lazareth when he recovers. Later, while collecting eggs, Maeve finds a dead chicken. She takes it as a bad sign. Imogen, drawn to Owen, begins to feel her feminine curiosity awaken, while Maeve stays focused on learning about the world outside. Their truck is still broken. That night, Lee, holding a knife, goes to the cellar. Owen wakes in fear, but she says she came only to check his wound. She reminds him she's worked hard to protect her girls and won't let anything destroy their sanctuary. From his tattoos, Lee realizes Owen was once in a gang, likely driven by hardship. The next day, they clean him up. That evening, Maeve talks with Lee about a dream and quietly says that once the truck is fixed, she wants to go to town with her. Lee remains silent. That night, Maeve wakes up and notices Imogen's bed is empty. She goes to the cellar and finds her sister talking with Owen. Maeve stays silent, but inside, she's boiling with anger and confusion, not jealousy, but a feeling she can't explain. The next morning, out of frustration, Maeve ends one of the chickens and brings it to Imogen, who's again with Owen. She scolds her, saying Imogen is destroying their sanctuary and calls Owen a curse. The argument quickly turns into a fight. Outside, Lee hears the noise while working. As she returns to calm them, the sound of motorcycles echoes. A gang is approaching. Owen panics and tells everyone to hide. They all take cover as several young men arrive, smashing into the house and looting anything valuable. It's clear they're searching for Owen. Their leader, Morian, commands them. One of his gang members finds jewelry in the girl's room and tries to keep it, but Morian catches her lying, slaps her, and takes it away. The girl sits down on the bed, not realizing Maeve is hiding beneath it, terrified she'll be found. After a while, the gang prepares to leave. Before going, Morian notices Owen's shirt hanging outside. He realizes Owen must be nearby, but decides to leave. For now. When the gang is gone, everyone comes out of hiding. Lee instantly understands the truth. The men were after Owen. Furious, she grabs her gun, confronts him, and demands answers. She knows now their secret refuge, Lazareth, has been compromised. Owen doesn't deny it, which makes Lee even angrier. For her, Lazareth is their only safe home, and now it's threatened. She even considers ending Owen's life, believing helping him was a mistake. But Imogen steps forward, saying Owen is a mechanic who can repair their truck. Maeve agrees, reminding Lee that the gang touched everything, so the house is now contaminated and must be disinfected, just as Lee had taught them. Lee storms off in rage, sparing Owen's life. Afterward, they clean the house and burn everything the gang touched. Maeve later discovers her music box, her mother's last keepsake, is gone, stolen by the gang, and the loss devastates her. Soon after, Owen starts repairing the truck. At dinner, Lee says he's earned his place at the table. When she asks about his past, Owen reveals his parents died from the virus, and afterward, he joined the gang. Lee snaps that everyone has a choice. He chose the wrong people. Owen replies he had no other way to survive. He says, "You had Lazareth, I didn't." Lee retorts, "Lazareth isn't luck. I built it over 20 years to keep us safe." Next morning, Lee leaves for town, unaware that Maeve is hiding in the truck. For the first time, Maeve steps outside Lazareth, curious yet afraid. Lee has no idea that Maeve secretly followed her. When Lee reaches the town, Maeve steps out of the truck, seeing the outside world for the first time. Here, the story reveals a massive twist that shocks both Maeve and the audience. It turns out Aunt Lee hadn't just kept Imogen and Maeve trapped. She had also deceived everyone's perception, including ours. The truth is, a virus had indeed spread once, but not like in other apocalyptic tales. People died, yes, but the outbreak ended quickly and life returned to normal. The world never turned into a wasteland. It remained intact. There were still laws, order, cars, trains, and malls. People continued their daily lives, unaware that somewhere Lee had isolated two innocent girls, making them believe the world had ended. But that doesn't mean the story has no meaning. There's a quiet beauty hidden in it that soon becomes clear. Like us, Maeve is shocked seeing the real world. No one wears masks or suits. Life continues as normal. Across the market, she spots the same gang. With courage, she walks up to them and asks for her music box, stolen from her home. Morian returns it, but warns that he knows Owen is hiding there and will find him. Maeve returns to the truck. Aunt Lee is stunned to see her. Before Lee can speak, Maeve says, "You lied. Everything outside is fine. You kept us trapped." Lee calmly says she did what she thought was right, to keep them safe. Even if the virus is gone, human cruelty isn't. The first wave killed many, even Maeve's mother. And Lee insists her strict rules are what kept them alive. She explains that Lazareth isn't just a place, it's an idea. In this world, we created our own. You seek freedom, but real freedom is within you. Freedom from fear. It isn't physical, it's a state of mind. When you step beyond fear, you're already free. You can go anywhere, be anyone. Then she asks, "Were you truly unhappy in Lazareth?" Maeve, crying and emotional, finally understands her aunt's true purpose. She replies, "No." Now she understands. Lazareth means freedom, a safe place to live by our own will, far from the cruelty of the world. At home, it's shown that Imogen and Owen become physically close. Later, she asks about his past, and he admits he's still in danger from his former gang. Meanwhile, Aunt Lee and Maeve are returning home. On the way, Maeve observes everything closely. She's seeing the outside world for the first time in 10 years. After reaching home, Imogen asks what the world was like outside. But Maeve doesn't tell her the truth. Instead, she reacts the same way Aunt Lee always did, because now it's Maeve's responsibility to keep Imogen safe. After coming back from town, Maeve's view of life has changed completely. She walks into the forest, feeling freedom for the first time. Until now, she had only survived living in fear, but now she truly feels alive. Just like Maeve, we too can understand this. When life is seen beyond survival and routine, there's beauty in everything. They knew the gang could attack any time to take Owen, so they made a plan. Owen predicted the attack would come at night. When darkness fell, Lee armed everyone, Maeve, Imogen, and Owen, and told them to hide. Before they separated, she asked Owen what he liked about Imogen. He said, "Imogen showed me a new way to see life. She sees beauty where others don't. She's like a star." Lee realizes Owen truly loves her and smiles. She says, "Now you understand what Lazareth does to us." Just then, the sound of engines approaches. The gang is here. They switch off the lights, hide the truck, and stay silent. The gang assumes the house is empty, but Morian insists they're still inside and orders a search. Imogen watches from outside, keeping an eye on the gang. Inside, Lee and Owen hold their breath, but Morian spots Owen. Realizing something's wrong, Imogen opens fire, taking down the men outside. Only Morian and one girl remain. Imogen locks the door so they can't escape. Lee points her gun at the girl, who begs for her life. Before Lee can shoot, Morian enters, dragging Owen at gunpoint. Lee turns her weapon on him. She warns, "Let him go." Morian refuses and orders his companion to flee. Maeve, waiting for her chance, sneaks up and attacks from behind, but gunfire erupts. Imogen rushes in. Morian is dead and Lee is shot. Maeve cries as Lee, dying, and said, "I'm proud of you both," before passing away. Maeve breaks down, and Owen, full of guilt, blames himself. Time moves on in the story. Maeve takes Lee's place, going to town for supplies and pretending the virus still exists to keep Imogen safe. It's now her duty to protect her sister. Owen supports her, and Imogen, now pregnant, starts a new life with him. A cycle of fear and protection, destined to continue. And this is where this beautiful story comes to an end. The film features breathtaking visuals and beautifully shot scenery, with music that perfectly matches its tone. Beyond that, its story carries a deep meaning. I see Lazareth as a metaphor, like our elders, parents, or guardians who try to keep us safe from the outside world, protecting us within a place of security. You can interpret the story in your own way, but sometimes the things that feel like a cage are actually our sanctuary, our own Lazareth. The film also explores several other themes, but this idea stands out as its core message.